Welcome to Vegan Business Talk with Katrina Fox, author of Vegan Ventures, Start and Grow an Ethical Business. Hello and welcome to episode 23 of Vegan Business Talk. I'm Katrina Fox, journalist, media trainer and editor of veganbusinessmedia.com, the multimedia blog providing success tips for vegan business owners and entrepreneurs. In this episode, I interview Giacomo Marchese, the co-founder with his partner Danny Taylor of Vegan Proteins, an online store selling a range of vegan supplements. The couple also co-founded Plantbuilt, a non-profit organisation of strength-based vegan athletes who compete together to raise awareness of vegan living as well as raise funds to help farm animal sanctuaries. A fitness aficionado for over 20 years, Giacomo has been vegan for more than 10 of those. He actively competes in bodybuilding and powerlifting and holds a certificate in plant-based nutrition from Cornell University. In addition to running the Vegan Proteins online store, he also coaches clients online. This interview is one that I did for my book, Vegan Ventures, Start and Grow an Ethical Business. In this interview, Giacomo discusses the signature strategy he and Danny use to provide highly personalised customer service to differentiate themselves from bigger brands, embracing being a small or medium-sized business and not forcing yourself into a corporate model of massive fast growth, the importance of trusting yourself amid huge uncertainty when starting and running a business, strategies for working successfully with your partner in a home-based business, and much more. Here's the interview with Giacomo Marchese of Vegan Proteins. What's your reasons behind, running a vegan business? What's your driver, your purpose, if you like, for doing this? What keeps you going?
So, I guess the best way to talk about that would be and how the business started, and it would start as a fundraiser. So, a friend of mine had the domain Vegan Proteins, and we needed to raise money to make a documentary on vegan bodybuilders. A friend of mine, Robert Cheek, approached myself and another vegan bodybuilder, wanted to get us to compete together at once at the same venue, thought that it would make a powerful statement instead of, because, just to basically connect us all, and being at the same venue, hopefully it would make more of an impact on people instead of just being the only vegan out there competing against others. The documentary never panned out, but we wound up keeping the business going, and I enjoyed it, and I felt like I could do something with it, so just kept working at it. Long story short, I went from me being part-time to Danny and I being full-time, and it's kind of come full circle with its purpose, because excuse me, I just ate, sorry. We also organized and founded Plantbuilt about 2.5 years ago. And with that, are you familiar with our team already, Plantbuilt?
With the term Plantbuilt?
Or the team, the organization.
Oh, the team. No.
So that's actually a major part of what we do. Also, we run a 501c3 nonprofit team of vegan strength-based athletes, and we wound up doing it on a much larger scale than we could have ever imagined. In 2013, we competed together, 15 of us. There were 10% of us. We took home 40% of the trophies at the same venue. And then last year, and that was in bodybuilders only, stage athletes, so bodybuilders, figure competitors, etc. This year, this past summer, there were around 35 of us, and now we're a multi-sport team. So we had CrossFitters, powerlifters, and bodybuilders. And are you in Australia or?
Sydney, Australia,
Sydney, okay.
Yeah.
And we actually have, are you familiar with Evolve Generation?
The Valve Generation?
There's another team of vegan strength-based athletes in Australia. Most of them are in Australia. One is in New Zealand, and they're called Team Evolved.
Oh, okay. I know some in Melbourne. I'm not sure if it's the same guys. I know there's a guy called Noah, I think, is one of them. He's quite well known.
Maybe not.
I don't know if that's him, but maybe, I don't know.
Well, anyway, next year, this coming year, in June of 2015, they'll be competing with us. So we're having about, I think there's going to be like about 8 Australian competitors flying out. They're our sister team, basically. We coordinated together. So we have competitors from all over the world, converging at one venue, all strength-based athletes. And I guess long story short, the original intention was a fundraiser to, we kept it going, we kept it alive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a business. It pays our bills and, our basic expenses, but we also funnel a huge amount of our proceeds to our nonprofit, and we also spend a great deal of time running our nonprofit. So it's kind of nice the way everything worked out like that, over time.
Explain to me, so how did it work? So you've got the plantbuilt.com, the website, and that side of it, and then you've got vegan proteins, and now they're both your businesses, and they work in tandem. Is that right?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, great. And how long did you start them at the same time, or did one start before the other?
One started before the other. Vegan Protein started in early 2009, and Plantbuilt started in late 2012.
Got it. Okay, cool. That's what I thought, because I thought the vegan proteins one had started first, because I'm keen to interview people who have had their businesses for at least 5 years, which is why I thought, the vegan proteins came in there. So on that topic of the vegan proteins, some of the business owners I've spoke to that produce, certain products, whether it's food or other stuff that it involves raw materials, sometimes they say that one of the challenge is that because they're vegan or they might be organic, sustainable, they're more expensive. And I'm curious whether you've come across that challenge, and if so, how you get over that to kind of stay competitive and still attract clients.
Well, the thing of it is, we really don't encounter. I mean, I know of those struggles from the vendors that we work with. We're a retail store, so we don't actually make our own products. We just don't have the capital to invest in anything like that.
Okay.
So,
and is it an online store? Is it online mostly? You post out products. Got it. Okay. All right. Cool. Fantastic. So as you mentioned, running a business, it can have, there's quite a lot of demands on a business owner's time. And we, as well as running the business itself. And in your case, sending out the products, organizing the events. And now there's social media to take into account. How do you cope with some business owners say that they feel a sense of overwhelm, particularly when they're starting out, they're kind of doing everything. How do you cope with that? And what advice would you give to other people starting out their business?
Do you have any advice for me? Because I'm all ears. I think with social media in general, whether you're a business owner or not, it's kind of hard to unplug these days. It was a lot easier back in the day to unplug, and I would imagine if I didn't run a business, I'd probably still be able to do that. Although it would be quite harder now than it used to be, because that's pretty much the way everyone interacts. I mean, it used to be, well, instead of call, text, but now it's like everyone just communicates via social media. So obviously, running an online-only business, it's kind of crucial for us to be on it. And sometimes we'll be even, in bed basically answering people's inquiries and whatnot, or just connecting with people and continuing to try to post relevant content. I don't really have, I guess... Do I have any? I have the questions in front of me too right now. So, how do I cope with this? I try to prioritize family as much as possible, and just I try my best to just keep my life balanced and not too one-sided. I'm kind of an admitted workaholic, and I feel like I kind of have to be in many ways, being self-employed and building this business from the ground up. Without any investors to boot. We didn't start with any capital. We just started with a credit charge card, basically. And we don't have any capital right now. I guess you just learn how to be better, as good as you can with time management, set office hours, which is also tough because, right, so, we work and live out of the same location. So that in and of itself is challenging. But yeah, we try to set office hours. We try to set specific days, like Sunday, for example, where we're just going to make sure that we don't do anything for at least half the day and then try to take a day off during the week. It doesn't always pan out, but just try our best to separate work and personal. Yeah.
For sure. No, it's great. In terms of then starting up, then what were some of your key challenges? I'm guessing you've mentioned that you didn't have investors, so maybe that was one of the challenges of that, just getting things off the ground. What were your key challenges when you first started out, and how have you overcome them in the time you've been going, particularly I suppose with vegan proteins?
Key challenges starting up the business. Finding the time. How do you invest your time and energy into something that isn't producing income for you? How are you going to pay your rent? How are you going to put food on the table? How are you going to do anything? So the key challenge was, how am I going to transition into doing this? So I tried to I wound up working overtime, full time plus overtime, with my 9 to 5. And then after that, finding the time to basically do to run this business and find a way to grow it. One of the first things that we really focused on was building our social media platforms, and we found that really helped. And also, we tried to separate ourselves by providing really personal customer service. So we're known for putting a handwritten note in every single box, which we still do to this date. We're known for hand decorating boxes, which we still do to this date, and just being friendly, being less businessy and more, putting more of a human personality into our customer service, and I feel like that kind of it. People see that and like, oh wow, this person actually cares about us and they want to supporting us, even though we're, obviously we're not an Amazon. We can't compete with that. So we have to do something to separate us, and we do. We thought about doing stuff at a fulfillment center, and maybe it would help us out more, but we really found we really love the customer service. We love how it impacts other people, and I don't see why we wouldn't continue to do things in-house. It's a little harder and not as cost-effective, but our goal is we're not trying to be some giant business that sells itself. Like, we're not working on the corporate business model. We're happy with being a small-sized business and maybe one day being a mid-sized business. And that's why we like doing everything in-house. We like to put a smile on people's faces and be as personal as possible.
I love that. You answered about 3 questions there, which is brilliant. I love that, the way you differentiated from others. I think that's important. And the fact that you acknowledge that, you are quite happy being a small and then maybe a mid-sized business. Because I think sometimes, some business owners, they kind of start out and they want to grow really, really quickly and become big really quickly. And I think it's actually really nice to be on it, because they think that's what they should do. That's what you're supposed to do in business. Whereas I think it's actually really great that, you can acknowledge, well, okay, I'm happy with this. And then, I might want to go to this. That's great. So thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic. So mindset. Let's talk a bit about the mindset side of things. You've been in business for 5 years with vegan proteins and a couple of years with Plantbuilt. So what would you say? Like, a lot of business owners say that being in business for yourself is the biggest and the fastest effective form of personal development, because it forces you to grow as a person. What would you say are the key qualities that a person needs in order to be able to stay the course and run their own business?
Trust. You have to trust in yourself and what you're doing, because there is a level of uncertainty when when you're involved in a growing business, and you have to just know that there's no right or wrong way to make a move. There's no right or wrong time to make a move, and yeah, you really have to trust in that and not fear it. Oh, I could have done this. It's not linear at all. And that's kind of the beauty in it, everything everything you put in, you get out, and as much as you want things to happen a certain way, it's still very unpredictable how the outcome of the investment of your time, your energy, your resources, and how you apply them to your business. The outcome is still always somewhat unpredictable, and you got to roll with those punches. Sometimes they're not what you looked for, but then you can kind of look at the aftermath and say, oh, I can. Maybe this wasn't what my original intention was, but oh, look what just happened, like Plantbuilt, for example. It just kind of came together. Wasn't what we intended, but it just happened. And sometimes you have to embrace those moments, and yeah, it's nice. I really enjoy that aspect of running a business. The fact that there's the road. No matter what you plan on happening, there's always going to be something that sort of surprises you, and then it can turn into something really, really nice. So
fantastic. Great to be open to that, for sure. Have you learned anything about yourself through running your business that you perhaps didn't realize that you had, like qualities or that you had to dig deep that you didn't really know you had?
I definitely, confidence in what I do, I suppose, maybe. I guess that anything that you can dream, it can be possible, basically. A lot of times people have desires and wants and needs and dreams, and they sort of just pass them by. At least speaking for myself, I've had aspirations in the past, and I've just kind of glossed over it and being like, well, this isn't possible. That's not what life. That's just not the way it was going to go down. But now I don't have that mindset anymore. I don't. Now I feel like whatever it is that I want, if I put my heart out there and I go for it, that it is possible, and also that you're never in it alone as much as you might think. It's amazing how people come together when there's a common goal and a common belief. Even as a business owner, you might think to yourself, well, hey, this is our business, Danny and I. This, we're doing this on our own, and but you'd be surprised how many people are just wholly supportive of seeing your business succeed. And it becomes more. It's not about a bottom line. See, that's what surprises me is that every time I talk to other business-minded folks, it's more about a balance. More about profit and loss and about making money, and I don't get it. And I don't get it at all. I'm not. If I wanted to do that, I would just work for a bank, I guess. I just have no desire in that, But I feel like every time I talk to another person who's whether they're involved in their own business or whether they're thinking about it, either or, it's one and the same. It's always about how much money you can make, how fast you can make it, and that being the number one goal. And to me, that is never the number. It's up there. It's priority because you can't survive without that. But it's not ever the goal, not the destination. So yeah, I like that aspect of it.
Right, I like that you've come to that for sure. What do you do to kind of ensure? Because you sound like you're quite, self-aware, and you kind of grown through doing this, and stepped out of your comfort zone and got that belief and that passion, which is fantastic. What do you use? Any kind of steps or strategies or techniques to kind of keep yourself, kind of strong emotionally and mentally? Like, I don't know, meditation, coaching, any self-help kind of courses, or reading. Anything like that?
Yeah. I definitely try to keep a journal whenever I can, and I like to look at my weaknesses and my strengths. I'll list them from like 1 to 10, and I'll ask someone objectively my fiance is usually she spends the most time with me, so I let her look at them and analyze them for me and say, hey, this is how strong or weak is this part of me. Because you can't, you have to know you have to know your strengths and you have to know your weaknesses if you're going to be able to work well with others. You have to know when it's time for you to pull the trigger and do something and take the lead, and you have to know when it's time to let someone else take the lead. And sometimes it can be hard to let go of that control because you feel like, oh, well, this is your baby. This is what you've put out there. So how can anyone else see it but me? How can anyone else see my vision? But you'd be surprised. And that's something that has taught me actually is to be able to not only be a leader. I never thought I'd be a leader at all. I never thought I'd be a team captain for a team of 35 athletes. I mean, what makes me so special? I'm not a great public speaker. I'm not particularly the best communicator. Not the best listener. But I'm not afraid to put myself out there either. And I definitely have a lot of heart when I do things. So, it gave me the confidence to sort of take charge and become a leader, and others saw that and said, hey, this makes sense. Let's go with it. But at other times, it's also taught me to be led, basically, not only by my coworkers, but by friends, by acquaintances. A lot of times it's good to just sit back and let someone else take charge when you see that they're on a roll with an idea, or they just know how to do something better than you. Just because you're running your own business doesn't mean you know how to do it better than others. So yeah, leading and knowing, allowing others to lead you, basically. That's something it's taught me, and something I try to apply to what I do.
Great. Cool. When you first started out, what expert help did you employ? Any kind of expert help? So I'm thinking along the lines of, I don't know, a business coach or a marketing person or a PR person. Did you hire any external help at all? No, you've done it all yourself. Cool. Nice. Very nice. Okay, that's cool. And do you have any staff at the moment, or is it mainly just you as co-owners of the business that do everything?
We had my father-in-law working for a while. He's not doing so well. So my sister-in-law has taken over. So she helps us with hand decorating the boxes, making the notes, doing a lot of the administrative stuff, and and doing orders and whatnot. So it's us three at the moment. We do have friends who help us out with promoting on social media. It's sort of like we trade. We help them out. Like, we have a couple friends who we, because we offer online personal training, we train them for free, and in turn they help promote us. So stuff like that. You become really savvy about bartering, basically, for other people for their time. Because when you don't have money, you can't afford to hire a PR or marketing professional or an advertising or to pay for. You can't afford any of that. So you just learn how to help others and have them help you with things. Because let's face it, we all get very busy as adults, and none of us have the time. But when you find something that someone else really wants, and vice versa, you find a way to fit that into your schedule. So
that's great. That's really, really good advice, I think, particularly when you're, as you say in the beginning, and you're bootstrapping it. That's really, really good. Instead of just trying to find a load of money or getting credit and buying that, is to do that bartering system, I think. And I think Lee Chantel is a big fan of that as well. I think she introduced us to us. That's great. What would your advice be so for those people who haven't yet started their business, they're working their 9 to 5 or their day job, whatever, and but they're looking to start their own business. What would you say are the key things they need to take into account before making that jump from employed to self-employed?
Make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, that it's something that you absolutely love, and that you have no problem with investing a great deal of your energy into. If money is your main goal and objective, well, then don't. I wouldn't suggest doing it. Maybe work for a corporation and and be an executive, and that's a good way to extrapolate money out of the system. If you're trying to be self-employed, money should not be the goal. It should be the service that you're providing, or the idea that you're creating that you want to share with others. So that would be my advice. That would be a big thing for me. enjoy the concept, whatever it is. Just don't. It shouldn't be. At least that's I would imagine people start businesses based on, making lots of money and that being their main goal. And I'm sure they do very well, but it's not my cup of tea. I'm more about the passion side, having passion for what I do, basically, and having purpose behind what I do. Time is limited, so you might as well make the most of it and, make a positive impact. For us, we get to, that's big, right? I mean, we get to promote veganism. We get to lead by example. We get to provide resources for others. It's awesome. I'm so thankful for that. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing ever, than showing others what's possible through a compassionate lifestyle. By trying my best to be a better athlete, and a good representative, and then also, provide people with vegan supplements and alternatives, and show them, not just carrying my story because it's vegan, there's demand for it, but for the ethical side of it and being a vegan branded business, basically, I think it makes all the difference.
Yeah, for sure. That leads nicely into that next question, is around the use of the word vegan in your marketing, and obviously you're very much all about that. You use the word, because some businesses, they say, oh well, we don't want to scare people away, so we don't really use the V word. We might use plant-based or plant powered and all the rest of it. You're very much, as you said, a vegan branded business. Tell me a bit about your decision to go down that route rather than do the more not actually using the word, but to draw more people in.
I guess just nothing like it existed, and I don't know. I wasn't afraid of it. I mean, there's been, I don't know. It just felt right to me. Why wouldn't I? Really? I guess.
Do you know that are most of your clients, if you know this, are most of them vegan already, or are some of them not? I'm just kind of curious as to who your main market is. Is it the vegan community, people who are vegan already, or is it that greater kind of athlete world that are interested in this? If you know that.
Yeah, we don't necessarily. Obviously the vegan community is a large part of our market, but we get a lot of people that are veg curious that come to us, or a lot of people that are looking to add more nutrition into their diet, or start making healthier choices. Maybe they're not even interested in going vegetarian or vegan, but they can see that clearly there's healthier options, and they want to start incorporating them into their daily routine. So we get a lot of people like that, actually. That's the nice thing about using the word vegan in your branding, is that people that are actually looking into it, there's something out there for them. There's information, and there's, it's like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with this. Look, this is what's, there's a whole entire store. So I like the fact that it's we're open and outward about being a vegan business.
Cool. You mentioned social media, and that was one of the first things you did was set up your social media platforms. So I'm assuming that's one of your key ways of marketing. What particular platforms, what are you most active on, and what are the most successful in terms of your raising awareness of your brand and generating sales?
Currently?
Yeah.
I would say Instagram, currently right now, Instagram is pretty popular for us.
Okay.
Instagram is doing really well. I find out of all the social media platforms, Instagram seems to be one of the most positive ones, YouTube being one of the most negative ones, and then everything else in between is where the most of the traffic is, like Facebook, for example, and Twitter. Obviously, Facebook is a lot more integrated within people's lives, and Twitter's more about it's almost kind of spammy sometimes. But I think those are two of the most heavily trafficked. So it helps to have that type of volume as far as the amount of people that you can reach. And we definitely do post. But as you know, with like Facebook, it's just very hard to reach people. So believe it or not, I mean, it's easier for us to reach out to people on Facebook with our personal lives more so than our fan page. Our fan page is more of just something that we build. It's more of like it's more of like a storefront than a way to interact with people. Whereas our personal Facebook accounts, that's where people see what we're doing and they say, oh, I like what they're doing. Oh, and they run a store. I want to go support them. So that's how we actually get through social medias. Not by how we are as a store, but how we are as people and as individuals.
The people behind the brand, because that's our whole thing, isn't it? About we are our brand in some ways. We're representative of that. So that's great. No, that's a good way of using it. Do you do you proactively go after media coverage? I don't mean paid advertising. I mean editorial coverage in some ways. Like, is that part of your marketing strategy? Is it something you've proactively gone after at all?
Do you mean like getting articles published and whatnot?
Yeah, being featured in the media, on the radio, on the TV, featured in print or online articles. Yeah,
absolutely. I wish we had more time for it. I think it's incredibly valuable to have those what do they call, like backlinks on Google, where people, is that something like that or whatever. But I think it's incredibly valuable to reach out to editorials or other media outlets, like this, for example. Blogs. I'm a big fan of blogs. I feel like if we were doing it for a while at a time, it was just, too many, stretched too thin at the moment, but, we would do giveaways and product reviews, with other bloggers or interviews, for ourselves as vegan bodybuilders with other bloggers, and then that would obviously link back to our store. I think blogging is a pretty easy way to cross promote with others on the internet, and a way that doesn't cost money. I think that's a key thing to think about, the ways that you can grow your business without spending money, because no matter what, you're going to spend more money than you have when you're growing into something. It's just inevitable. So you might as well find as many different ways to get yourself out there without spending money as possible. And media outlets online are big for that.
That's very good advice. Very good advice. Just on the terms of being an online business, what do you service majority a local market or a national market or international in terms of your clientele, or all of them?
We have most of our market is domestic. Shipping rates tend to get pricey, and internationally, but we do have customers around the world, and we will ship anywhere. And we've shipped pretty much everywhere. Or I don't keep track of it, but so many different countries. I've noticed when I look at our analytics once in a great while, I noticed that there's a fair amount of interest in the vegan market in Australia. That would be the next biggest one outside of here, where we have people that take interest in ordering from us. I imagine a lot of it also has to do with the fact that stuff is expensive there because it's all being imported, right? Yeah. So that might have something to do with it. But no, I think there's a pretty big interest in Australia, in eating plant-based and going vegan. Then the next one would be Great Britain.
Right, I was going to ask about. Yeah. Okay.
Then it's kind of Canada. Those are the next three, and outside of there, it's kind of spread thin.
Got it.
And we are looking to get better shipping rates right now, actually, as we speak, and fix the way our website checks people out, because right now it's kind of glitchy, and that's why we don't have a lot of international customers. But we are going to target more people outside of the United States in the next 6 months or so.
Cool. And you mentioned earlier that you're quite happy running a small business, home-based business at the moment, maybe moving to a medium-sized business. What are your thoughts on having a physical premises other than your home? Is that something that you may look to do, or it works for you running the online-only business?
You mean a physical storefront, or a brick and mortar?
Yeah,
People to come?
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if there was a demand for it where I lived, I'd say sure, why not? I think it would be really cool and really, really neat, actually. But where we live, there's barely any demand. I mean, we're the only vegans I could think of within miles and miles and miles of us. At least 20, 30 miles. So,
right. Okay.
You know what? Another good piece of advice that's served us well for promoting ourselves is vegan expos, Vegfests.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like there's one coming up, right? In where is it? Is it Sydney or Melbourne? There's one coming up next month.
Yeah, there's a couple actually. There's the Cruelty Free Festival, which is not this weekend but next weekend. That's quite a big one. And I think the Melbourne one, I think, is in November.
Yeah.
And the British have had theirs in London, and they've had theirs in September. So it's around about this time, September, October, November. It tends to be quite a cluster. Yeah.
Like I know Robert's flying out on November 8th to go to the one in Melbourne, I believe.
Okay, right.
You speak there, for example. So yeah, that is something we did from the very start, actually, to get ourselves out there. Was we started going to different vegetarian festivals, and that is a great way to have a physical storefront without having a physical storefront, because you get anywhere from 2,000 to 30,000 attendees that you meet over a 1 to 2 day period, and a large part of them are vegan and the rest of them are veg curious, and it's sort of like saying, hey, look, I'm a part of this community, and I'm meeting you face to face, and people. I mean, that's awesome branding right there. Just showing that you want to be out within the community, that you want to be there for others who are looking to get into the lifestyle, that you want to be a resource for other vegans. I think it's indispensable. We started doing it from day one, and we haven't stopped every single year. The traveling thing can get a bit stressful, but it's well worth it. Well worth it. And what we do to make up for the fact that we don't have a budget to travel with is that we sell our products there. So people get the products when they get there. We give them a coupon so they can find us next time, because they're not actually our products, remember. And anyone is finding us in the future. And then also when we go to these shows, we invite people to share their email with us. And then we have a newsletter that we send out to a subscriber list, which I think is another very, very, very valuable tool, is having a subscriber list and finding out how to grow yours. For us, we do like a raffle, and we say, hey, we're giving away a free container of protein. Enter the raffle here. By entering the raffle, you're providing your email information, and we'll be contacting you.
So that was Giacomo Marchese from Vegan Proteins. You can find out more at veganproteins.com. And that link is on the show notes page at veganbusinessmedia.com/podcasts. Now for our vegan business news roundup. What's believed to be the world's first vegan lifestyle TV show is about to debut in the US on A&E's FYI network, which has over 70 million subscribers, reports Veg News. Plant-based by Nafsika will be hosted by marketer and vegan food innovator Nafsika Antipas and include cooking demonstrations, guest interviews with doctors, nutritionists and celebrities, plus fashion and entertainment. According to a press release for the show, viewers will receive a well-rounded perspective of the vegan way of life and see that making a choice to omit animal products from their diet and lifestyle is a positive thing to do, both in terms of personal health and for the sustainability of our planet. Amen to that. So this is massive. What's particularly great is that although the word vegan isn't in the title of the show, it's not just focusing on food, but all aspects of vegan living and philosophy, with the potential to reach millions of viewers. The Peace Exchange, which establishes fair trade cooperatives to sell artisan handmade goods from across the globe, has again teamed up with ethical boutique Bead and Reel to host the second annual Fair Trade Fashion Show and fundraiser on Saturday, July the 16th in Los Angeles. The entirely vegan event will consist of a cocktail reception, an interactive panel discussion and Q&A with fair trade and human rights experts, an array of ethical fashions to buy, and a fashion show featuring international models donning dozens of looks from Bead and Reel's stock of designers, as well as limited edition Peace Exchange pieces created especially for the event. The proceeds from this fundraiser will directly benefit the women of the Peace Exchange sewing centres in the Congo, who work in one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Their stories will be featured throughout the night, making a direct connection from the seamstress to the runway. I love events like this that tell the stories behind the products, and it just goes to show that fashion can be ethical and benefit people, animals and planet. I got an invitation to this event, and if I were in LA, I'd definitely go along and support it. So for those of you who are based there, I recommend going along and checking it out. You can find out more and book tickets at fairtradefashionshow.com. Impossible Foods' vegan burger has been given the seal of approval by chef David Chang, founder of the renowned Momofuku International Group of Restaurants. Got to be careful pronouncing that or it could be a bit tricky. Chang posted on Instagram a picture of the burger, which, similar to Beyond Meat's Beyond Burger, which I reported on in the previous episode of Vegan Business Talk, bleeds. The Michelin-starred restaurateur wrote alongside the image, "Today I tasted the future, and it was vegan. This burger was juicy, bloody, and had real texture like beef, but more delicious and way better for the planet. I can't really comprehend its impact quite yet, but I think it might change the whole game." Wow. So this is what we want, mainstream chefs to come on board with plant-based eating. So many of them poo-poo vegan food and make fun of it or say it's nothing like real meat. So when you get big players sharing positive feedback like this to their followers, it really helps to shift public perception and help take veganism mainstream. So kudos to David Chang for putting it out there. The Washington Post ran an article recently titled "The Next Frontier for Vegan Restaurants? Not Calling Yourself a Vegan Restaurant." The piece featured quotes from the owners of 2 DC vegan eateries, including Shook, which offers Middle Eastern products, and Sticky Fingers Bakery, which provides an array of delicious cakes, desserts and cheeses. Shook's Ran Nussbacher and Sticky Fingers' Doran Peterson both shy away from the word vegan in their branding or marketing. Nussbacher believes the word can be off-putting to some diners and is quoted as saying he prefers to let the products speak for themselves. Peterson's stance is similar. She believes labelling a product or business vegan does it a disservice and instead wants people to focus on the veggie and plant-based aspects of her food. So I'm always fascinated by the terms vegan business owners use in their marketing and branding. I ask each of my interviewees their position on the term vegan, and I dedicated a whole chapter to it in my book, Vegan Ventures, Start and Grow an Ethical Business. Every business is different and there are plenty of arguments for and against. I guess at the end of the day, as Peterson pointed out in the Washington Post article, no matter what the label is, people really are just looking for good food. Finally, the first Cellular Agriculture Conference will be held in San Francisco on the 13th of July. Hosted by New Harvest, the non-profit research institute that promotes innovative technologies that address global food insecurity without the use of animals, the conference will feature the movement's leading companies and researchers who will meet to discuss the latest advancements in this field. Speakers include David Lentelm from Soylent, Sarah Burr from TechCrunch, Alexander Lorestani from Gelsen. You may remember I reported on his groundbreaking developments to create animal-free gelatin in a previous episode of Vegan Business Talk, and many more. You can find out the full list of speakers and register for the conference at new-harvest.org. So that's it for this episode of Vegan Business Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please consider giving it a review and a rating on iTunes or any other platform you're listening on. I'm Katrina Fox from veganbusinessmedia.com, and I look forward to catching up with you in the next episode. Bye for now.